weird, at least on my phone. So with today, last night my friends asked, essentially gave me a commission, gave me something to paint. They had said they wanted a oil painting with magnolias as well as cypress trees. And there's really no pictures of magnolias next to cypress trees. We do have those two things growing down here. We have there's different types of magnolias all over the world, but we have kind of a specific one, but I think I can get it to work where we'll have an interesting setup. So I think I have everything working. Everything should be good at this point. Just checking the live stream. Why it's so low. Okay, yeah, so we're good. Okay. So let's grab our watercolor brushes. We're going to be looking at gouache for this. Let's see what I want to use. Oh, and by the way, this paper is Moulin de Roy. It's 100% cotton. It's, I think, made by Ranson. It's like $4 for the big sheet. And this is the hot press. Let's clean this off some. This must be like a cerulean blue. I'm not sure what I had put on the palette. I just have limited gouache paints out right now. I might grab more. The reason I chose to do this one in gouache as an experiment before I do the oil is that gouache does have some handling like a watercolor, like a watercolor and like on oil, so that'll be helpful. Right there we have a spot that's resisting. So as this paper gets wet, it's going to buckle, and I have the clips on the edges to help flatten it out when that time comes. It doesn't really show up in the picture, but there's a little watermark from the company right here. I really don't want to use any watercolor attributes of the gouache, mainly since I'm going in the direction of oils after this one. Let's flatten this out. Yeah. All right, if you have earbuds on, I'm just going to do a dry off. So now here's the idea. So they requested Magnolias and a Cypress tree. So I figured very close to the viewer's eye, we're going to have the Magnolia branch. And use a combination of white and, what color is this? I do not have that tube out. I don't know what color this is. And what I was thinking was start the eye off somewhere strong with kind of a bulb. You know, so an unopened Magnolia. Now, I haven't painted Magnolias in a while. Last time I painted Magnolias was actually using this type of brush, but in the Chinese aspect, about 2 or 3 years ago. Then we're going to come over and switch to an open bulb, open flower. And the open flower is going to open towards us. Let me see. I have like all my reds out and nothing else. I'm gonna use a few different brushes. Magnolia. Let's use this guy. For the stamen. Ultramarine blue. Get more of a dark purple. Some pure white gouache. Highlights. there's going to be a lot of twigginess taking place. I was thinking bring it in this region, then have it come up and over. So we have the eye traveling along. And then this guy, of all things, will come off of a branch that's hanging down low. Maybe it broke off at the end. It'll make its way up into the corner. And this guy will transition into shadow. Have him come along. We're going to have other flower up there. It's kind of a loop around. We could do the side view. Burnt umber. Have another one here. Play around with some bulbs, some unopened ones. And then I'll come back to this guy. So it's going to be kind of a foreground element, and like I said, it's going to recede into shadow up in here. But I'll come back to that. Then, they wanted a cypress tree. Now, cypress trees I'm just kind of placing my elements right now, figuring out what's going to work. Burnt umber and yellow ochre. So the cypress trees have a very triangular trunk, and then they narrow up, and I believe it's for water storage. But having that guy come up. Okay, so pretty triangular trunk right here. They do have these ridges at the trunk, at the base. So those are going to cast shadow, and then this half I'm going to want it to be in shadow. That's what's going to happen there. Then around it, it's so weird, like just painting elements and not working it all at once. We have these things called the Cypress Knees. These are the roots popping up out of the ground or out of the water. I've been debating, I started thinking about this one last night, was do they pop out of water or the ground? I'm not quite sure what I want to do with this one yet, but I'm going to utilize these guys to create a depth effect where they're going to circle and come out around here. But they're going to cast shadows. They're going to be on the dirt or in water. Regardless, both are going to be pretty dark. This corner, get lost in shadow. And if this winds up being water right here, I could do a little bit of a reflection. And I could do ripple techniques. I'm thinking that considering that we have such dark water here, especially in the swamp, I can bring over kind of dark shadowy mass. Gradiate up into a blue. Now that, pass around this guy. I want a horizontal landmass back here. So we're going to have that, and we're going to have cypress trees back in this region. I think I'm going to allow green on this one. We're going to have far distant cypress trees that come up. I want to vary the pattern that I have. I want to vary the thickness of them. I'm going to dry off so I can do a little wash over that real quick. So these guys, in watercolor I would know what to do. In oil, I'm not sure, but I'm going to want these guys to recede back, and I think when I do this in oil, and this is just gouache, just to kind of plan things out, I'll be able to glaze over these tree elements and bring everything together. They do have a fir needly type foliage, and I've been debating allowing foliage in this one, especially greens. I think that they just look very fake and false, but I could probably add a little interesting washes as well back here to break up that just vertical line monotony. We're going to build up our shadows that this guy casts. I'm going to let this side of the tree, its shadow is going to blend into the ground, to the water. This is going to be in shadow. Let's gradate towards blue. Reflections. Let's just use gray for this one. Gray and brown, green. They're going to have their knees that pop up as well. So that's just more variation back here, and I'm not going to want the shadows to be perfect, but they'll get there. I don't want that growing up into that broken branch in the background. Let's do our yellow ochre and black for kind of an olive green. Let me flatten this side. Now I could have the branches from this front one come down. That's just a big debate. Fall into shadow for this Magnolia. accentuate the knees. I've been thinking about leaving this whole area blank, just a smooth, gradient. Let's see. Add some variation in this wash. Shadows. All right, now let's come back to these guys. So this is going to be like super highlighted. It's going to be that point of interest that comes in. It's going to be the closest thing to us. And then the back side will be pink. Then come over to this one. This is the one that we see the stamen on. All right, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna need to over. These guys. Little guys coming off of that. And if I could get a good wash concentration on the brush, that might be too reminiscent of the cherry blossoms. This guy, let's get some more white out. Like white paint, not white out. Come on, there we go. So I'm going to do that like a still life, where I'm going to have super highlighted portions. And also, I believe the tips of the Magnolias are definitely brighter. There are green leaves on the ones down here. So that's going to have to be like really focused strokes when I do it in the oils. want this guy to be too busy. Let's see. Let's move back to the Cypress. I don't want this dark corner shadow. In fact, I could even bring that around there and let it all kind of blend together. Top right. Seem to come out of shadow as well. In fact, I might even bring a whole shadow down along this edge. Just a dark mass. You can even have a second hint of a foreground cypress tree right alongside it, kind of like a secondary sister tree. In front of him, get a foliage to pass. Get that green to come back up and back here. And that's the tree cover. This branch coming out close. A little too much burnt umber, obviously, but it's just planning. Have that. Could do the slight idea of background silhouette. Got Jenna in the live chat. Hello, how you doing? Last night my friend asked me to do an oil painting. Like I had to make up the scene of a magnolia in front of cypress trees. So I kind of made up a scene last night in pen and ink, and today I'm just playing around with gouache to kind of get an idea of the composition so I could kind of see it. So I'm kind of just like kind of farting around with this, and then I'll move over to oil for a more professional look to it. I'm doing good today. I slept really good last night. I was up late doing sketching, trying to come up with an idea for this one. Are you all doing any art today, or? Personally, I'm debating the color of the magnolias. We got a lot of the white magnolias here as opposed to the more Asian red ones, but I might allow myself artistic license to do the pinker ones. Oh, when I was on Sean's stream. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I missed Sean's stream last night. He's doing the Pink Floyd barrel painting, and the guy is an amazing artist, and it's just really cool what he's just having come up in his head and whatnot. After I was done painting last night, I actually went to go check because it said he went live, but he was done at that point. So my idea for this one, it's kind of following, of all things, the idea of a still life oil. Let me show you what I was doing yesterday. Grab this. Kind of thinking like how the eye is going to move. And here's a still life that I've been working on where the eye is going to come in. It has this point, and then the eye comes up around, comes back. And I'm essentially going to use this same concept within the Magnolia movement, where you start off right here with your eye, and it's not going to be, it's going to try to pop closer to us. And then you're going to come up and over, and you have a more in-depth Magnolia to kind of enjoy. So it leads the eye over. And you can come up and over and explore this area. It has the eyes move around. How to get the eye to come over here, the only thing I could think of was this guy, this branch coming out of it. And I think I'm going to leave this whole sky empty. So that's kind of where my mind's going on this one. Oh, you worked late? That's a... Are you the one that wanted to go into marketing? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yep, that's you. How's that? Have you looked into it at all? Have you looked into schools for it? I've tried school but really struggled with it. I've learned more doing courses on LinkedIn, learning and courses. Well, that's cool. I didn't know they had courses on there. I guess once you just start building up experience, it opens up a lot more job opportunities for you. One of my my friends from high school went to college for marketing. And she actually wound up getting a job with my uncle at a law firm, tax firm type thing that he had worked out. And she did the marketing, party planning, things like that for them. And then she moved to like Virginia or something like that, and not sure what she's doing now. We could probably bring a highlight onto here. pure white. I could do little highlights on these guys. Bring down the idea of their reflection. Could even bring these Cypress Knees. So the roots, I don't know if I mentioned it, the roots for the cypress trees will pop up out of the ground or out of the water. And I'm going to use those to create a foreground 3D effect because they'll rotate around. But I could have some that pop out further. Bring that ochre. Let that guy recede back. You could even bring the same color onto this guy. You might catch a little bit of light on him. Actually, I can mix this with blue, get a purple. Yeah, I mean, it seems like Sean is a really good businessman, from what he said in terms of advertising his art, or at least selling his art, or at least he has at least like 21 years of experience of painting. I think he said 1999 is when he had started. So you'll probably learn so much, and you'll probably help him so much with, you know, your input and whatnot. Oh yeah. What kind of art does, or what does your husband do with his stream? I've been trying to build up my stream, but I'm at 70 followers, but sometimes I get people, like one or two people to pop in and talk. But most of the time, not really that much. So shadow, mass. You can bring some of this out behind here. Oh, that's cool. I think it was in last year, high school or college, when World of Warcraft came out. I never played it. I watched my friends play it, but I never got into it. I don't think I had like the time or the money for like the monthly subscriptions and whatnot. But World of Warcraft, streaming that, I would assume, like, you know, since it's such a popular game, he'll wind up getting a lot of people that come by and check it out. If there was, I don't think there's other people viewing or chatting right now, but if there was, I mean, you're more than welcome to share, or you could share a link to his stream for people to check out, but I don't think there's anybody else in here. Maybe I could give the water kind of a brownish green, get that marshy, scummy look. So, your husband got you into World of Warcraft? That's cool. My fiance, we got an Xbox, and she plays the different Assassin's games. I think Odyssey, the Greek one and the Egyptian one are the two that she's been kind of going back and forth. And I think she is anticipating waiting for the what's the one coming out? Valhalla or something? Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be like really cool, getting a job working for a gaming company. I think it was Sean that had said you could look at him on LinkedIn. Like, he recommended not even. What do you say? He said don't bother doing their like application routes. Just kind of contacting them directly and looking to see who works in there, and contacting them. Do a lot of gaming streamers wind up getting to work for those companies or getting sponsored by them? Yeah, Valhalla is the name of the game that she's waiting for. Oh, he made some connections already. Wow, that's really cool. That's the thing. What I always say is that there's thousands of people, probably in this town alone, that are better at me than art. But if you put yourself out there, that's the difference. A lot of people don't put their artwork out there, or make an effort to go on, or don't want to put things online and whatnot. And so that's the difference. Is just networking, getting your name out there versus just sitting on it by yourself. He wants to make games though, not so much stream them. That's cool. Does he have a degree in graphic design or gaming or anything like that? Or is he planning to look into that? So that's probably really hard to get into. And I could do darker strokes, I think. To give some depth so they're not too blobby. Yeah, graphic design courses is probably where it's at. I really don't know what the requirements are for those type of jobs. Or if it's, I'm not a good computer programming or anything like that, so I don't know the skill level that's necessary for that. I mean, it's just beyond me. What I'm thinking, when I do this in oil, I'll lay it down and use a a soft brush to spread it out, kind of glaze it over and smooth out the strokes. Or maybe these angular motions will help out. I don't know if that movement works with the rest of this painting. Those Cypress Knees. A little ochre. Let's see, so this green. When I get to the oil painting for this, greens are like my nemesis. I have the really hard time mixing them and getting one that'll kind of stand out. There's gonna have to be a variation of color on them to get a little bit of bending and light catching. Have that come out, come over here. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. And it's so easy to like fiddle around with branches and having all these little guys just kind of come off and weave in and out. Let me do a dry off and see what it looks like. If you have earbuds on, watch your ears. Okay, so this paper is 11 by 15, 11 inches by 15 inches. I'm going to lay a mat over it, and that's going to cut it to an image of like 10 and 5/8 by 13 and 5/8, let's say. That'll be the opening size. And they kind of gave me the option of whatever size I want to paint the oil in. and I do have 11 by 14 panels, and I do have 9 by 12 panels. I'm zooming up so you could kind of get a look. Let's see, so we can get the whole image in here. Let me kind of show you the whole thing so you can kind of get an idea. If you have any opinions, any suggestions, or anything like that before I carry over to oils. It's kind of where I'm at with this one now. So I think the compositional work, I'm gonna see it. I think 11 by 14 will work with the oils. It'll take me a few days. Thank you, I appreciate that. It has the elements that they want in it. It has the magnolia. It has the cypress that you'd find in the swamps down here. Like I said, the water down here is not, we don't have blue water. The closest clear water is 30 minutes to the east of me, which is the Atchafalaya Basin. It's actually where me and my buddy go to do what's called bow fishing, where you go out, and you hunt fish with bow and arrow. And the water's clear enough to see down there. But near us, and where my friends Blair and Terry would go fishing and all that, they live along the Vermilion, which has a lot of dirty water in it. And if you go further south, as you get to all the marshes in that area, down the Vermilion, you'd continue to have that brackish, dirty water. I want to actually tell you a story of a troll that I have online. I wound up having to just block her because it just got so intense. Not intense, but I had a troll that was an old woman art teacher from Canada. And if you I think you said you started following me on Sean's. If you saw some of my paintings on Instagram, you'll see that I kind of paint dark and moody, and it's inspired by the darkness of the swamp and that dark coverage, the cloud coverage, tree coverage that you see in the dark water. And this troll would I think she knew art, but she didn't understand what I was trying to do, or maybe I wasn't doing it correctly. And she would be like, "Oh, if that's the way you see the world, I feel bad for you," things like that. And I explained to her about the water down here, and she went so far as to find a picture of a swamp and post it and say, "Look how colorful this is." And then I went on Google, and I found that same image. She had cropped the image and processed it in Photoshop to make it more colorful and brighter. And I was like, "Listen, lady, I found the image that you actually cropped and edited. What were you doing?" I know, it's just, it was so weird that somebody would go that far as to find an image, crop it, edit it, post it, and say, "Look how bright this swamp is." And it was actually from the Atchafalaya Basin, which is the one that I referred to, that has the lighter water. And she had to process that just to make it look lighter. That's how dark it gets down here in those areas. So it was just come on, dude. And then she had followed me over onto different Facebook pages and onto YouTube, and just posting the negative stuff on there and just thumbs down, and at that point it's just I don't know what her goal was. So I was just listen, I'm just gonna block her. But that's the story of my troll. I mean, it's funny, you can't pick and choose your trolls, but an old teacher from Canada, that was mine. So on that note, I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna wrap up this stream. Let's see. I feel like art is very individual, and everyone is going to have different opinions. Oh yeah, without a doubt. That's the biggest thing behind art is art is going to have that individualness to it, and people will hate. I mean, people will like this, people will hate it, and people feel indifferent about this. And that's just the way it is. But yeah, like you said, that's a little extreme. I guess maybe she saw potential in me, and she wanted to paint colorful, happy things. But yeah, so I'm going to clean up. I'm going to do the oil painting off camera just because of the lighting and the angle. And last time, I was streaming an oil painting flat, but it would kind of hurt my neck a little bit for some reason. I guess there's just a difference in how I'm handling the oil as opposed to the gouache. So I'll post kind of progression pics on the Instagram. My Instagram is Andrew Broussard Watercolors. I don't know if I have that linked. Do I have that linked on there? But yeah, it's just my first, last name, and then watercolors. Eventually I'll figure out all that stream stuff that says how to do like the social, like I just press a button or something like that, or every so often it'll probably show my links and all that. Oh, you followed that too already? Yeah, thank you. But that's something that I want to be able to add. I don't know why I did that hand motion. I'm watching myself in the camera, delayed, and I guess I'm pointing over at my Kindle that has the live stream on it. So I'm just doing that. Okay, so I just need a bot, and I can set up the comments. Is that like kind of in the what do they call it? The something tools of it. The probably like creator tools on the right or something. I'll bring it up on the computer and see if I can figure it out. Yeah, art streams are really cool. So far, that's the ones that I've been really checking out, where there's been a lot of kind of like a community in them. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out Streamlabs. I think that's like a separate program I'd have to download. There are a few that will do it. Okay, I'll definitely look into that, Jenna. I appreciate it. If you have any advice or anything like that, just feel free to share it, because I need all the help I can get. But I really enjoyed Sean's stream, and then there was this other guy that was a lot of fun, who was burnt wood. He was doing charcoal portraits and animals and all that, and that was like a really friendly community, and people from that one have come into the live stream. So if you don't know that one, burnt wood, it's really cool. It's this guy, I think he's out of Los Angeles, somewhere out in California. But on that note, thank you so much for dropping by and hanging out. Hopefully I'll see you soon, and I wish you the best of luck, and to your husband with his streaming. And let me know how that all turns out. But I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a good day. Okay, how do I log off?